I found a videotape in my parents' basement. I now know the disgusting truth of my childhood. Since a kid, I've always had a large scar along my throat. I never knew why until today. My parents always told me I just had a tonsil removal when I was younger, which I never questioned, until my curiosity got the better of me. I'm pretty athletic and get good test scores, but I never understood why I get treated so special my whole life by everyone in my town. If anything, I've always felt like there was something a little bit sinister about just how obsequious everyone is in our town is toward me. Sometimes it feels a little mocking, almost menacing. Sometimes the old folks around here smile at me like they know a secret about me that I don't know about myself. It's been this way for as long as I can remember. I've overheard my parents talking a few times about what it was like back when they were broke and pretty much ostracized here in town, which is weird because we've been really comfortable for as long as I can remember. I had my tonsils out when I was 8 and the surgeon did a bad job that left me with a scar. I've always assumed my parents must have threatened to sue and then settled or something, and that's why neither of them has to work and we are still pretty rich. Knowing what I know now I'm writing this, I wish this was true. I have never been able to remember much before I was 8 years old. I think I have a lot of bad memories. I think I used to get bullied in school, so I just blocked out a lot of memories from before my life turned awesome. Life is happier when you have a knack for staying positive. My first crystal clear, vivid memory is waking up in the hospital when I was 8, after having had my tonsils out. I remember Geneva Clark, the prettiest and most popular girl in 3rd grade, standing there with her parents and handing me a cup of ice cream and smiling shyly at me, and they were all telling me how glad they were I was okay. I don't think Geneva had cared much about me before that, which was odd for her to start caring suddenly. Geneva's smile is burned into my brain. It's the smile I've always compared all other smiles to. But yesterday everything started to make sense. I was in our basement just kind of poking around and I found a box full of my dad's old home movies. One of them was labeled Ceremony, and I figured maybe it was my parents' wedding or something. My parents have always been kind of distant to me. They always do anything I ask too. Like there is something scary or uncanny about me which I realize is unnatural, and also bad parenting. I have always been curious about what things were like for them before I came around. So when I saw this tape that I figured was their wedding ceremony, I decided to dust off an old VHS player that still works and pop it in. What I saw has me freaked the f*** out. The film starts rolling in a huge, cavernous space that might have been the basement of one of the many mansions in the old section of town. There were big pillars set up on either side of a long crimson-colored carpet, and the camera panned the carpet and then settled on a huge marble altar topped by an intricate carving unlike anything I have ever seen in a church. Instead of Christ or a cross, the altar was capped by a huge marble statue of a naked man. On his head was a crown of garlands like a Greek god. The altar was beautiful, but as I watched the tape I ever so faintly remembered being 8 years old and staring down that long red carpet and seeing the altar and being seized by a sense of inchoate dread and incipient pure panic. I sat and tried to place the memory, whether it was before or after I had my tonsils out, but I just couldn't remember it properly. The camera panned back and landed on me. I was apparently the star of the show. I stood there awkwardly, dressed in weird white robes. It reminded me of some half memories that popped up from time to time about being clad in white robes, but I had always dismissed that as something that happened in the hospital. The camera looked me up and down, and what it showed was a confused, fat, blubbering little boy I could hardly recognize. I cannot mention it to my parents or to anyone. I have a strange feeling I wouldn't be safe. I balled my fists up and sobbed in bewilderment and confusion and panic. I ran my hands, as I often do whenever I am nervous, across the only blemish I really have, an admittedly very large and jagged scar on my throat. That was when I heard the basement door open.